Good morning and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Kevin Gregg. This is the show that is designed to help you reflect, rebuild, reinvigorate, reinvent your life. My name's Kevin Gregg. Uh, the whole idea with the show is to get you on track for that which God has called you for. Um, nice. Again, trying to figure this stuff out as we go. Uh, if you're joining us, thanks. You can make any comments in the live stream, and eventually we'll get to a point where I'm able to sort of interact with you guys and answer back and forth. A couple of things that were on my mind this morning. Again, boy, I had a great conversation last night. Your creative journey. We had the artist and painter Jeff Watts that was on. I'll put a link to it in the show notes here. Uh, Gosh, what a fantastic conversation. Really talking about the ideas of um, schooling, self education, putting in sweat equity. At one point, we touched a little bit on NFTs, which are non fungible tokens. We were talking about blockchain and Bitcoin stuff. I had some questions that came up in that stream that I wasn't able to answer, and I don't know all of the answers on it. Um, Somebody asked, Dari Mills, who's a friend of ours, asked, what's the situation with taxes on it? I don't know that specifically. I know that uh, the United States government, I think, is trying to treat them like investments. So I'm sure that there's a profit that the federal government's trying to figure out a way that they can get their taxes on it. But um, I get very excited about Bitcoin, blockchain, uh, Ethereum. Uh, what's the other ones? There's Litecoin. I don't know. It's really fascinating. I've listened to philosopher Stefan Molyneux. Uh, has a great presentation that talks about the possibilities of what Bitcoin and blockchain technology can do. I think it's an exciting time, especially moving forward. Feeling a little bit better this morning. I talked about it on the last episode where, uh, you know, got on the scale, feeling a little bit heavier, and it reflected it. Spent the last couple of days doing some runs and some exercises and watching uh, what I'm eating, which is a good thing too. To feeling better. Um, quite frankly, when I woke up this morning, I was feeling a little bit. Uh, I was feeling better than I was yesterday. I think sort of running and gunning and doing a lot of stuff. We've got some challenges that are coming up here in our household over the next couple of weeks. But boy, when you just get burnt out, grabbing sleep is like one of the best things to do. I think it's very easy for me, and I don't know if listeners experience this, but it's very easy for me when uh, I'm not getting enough proper rest or slowing down, or I feel like I'm burning the candle on both ends. Um, these other negative thoughts start coming in. There were people that I used to admire in my life that when I would look at them, there were some guys I knew that would just go, they get maybe 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. They'd be working 7 days a week. And they just seemed like they were just machines, that they could just keep cranking stuff out. And there was a part of me that was impressed with that, like going, wow, that's amazing that they can do it. But I think that there's a cost. I've discovered for myself over the years that I can't operate that way. Like, I've got to make sure that I'm finding these proper healthy boundaries for myself so that I'm able to cut it off and say, nope, gotta stop doing it. And believe me, this is a continual challenge for myself. Um, because I want to go, 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 go. Like, part of it is control, right? For me, part of it is just like, if I do all of these things, if I get this just right, like, all of the rewards are going to come my way. And I've also discovered over the last couple of decades that that's not exactly how the world works. As a matter of fact, I don't think it's the way that God works. I don't think that God, for myself personally, I don't think that God wants to bless things that are going to do a couple of things. That, number one, are going to uh, exhaust me, cause me harm, cause damage with my relationships, um, and just get me into a place, especially when I'm running and gunning like that. And you feel like, I had a friend of mine, Kenny Lamont, who once described it once. He'd been up for several days, and just like, he'd been working on stuff, and he described it as he was so tired. He says, I feel like everything is like molasses going through me. Like, he felt like his blood and his oxygen. He said everything feels like molasses. And I thought, gosh, that's an excellent description. Um, Talking about that feeling of exhaustion. And you can be at the you can be at the driving wheel for this too. I've shared this with other Your Creative Journey podcast before. Words are so powerful. Years ago, gosh, man, this is almost 20 years ago. My wife Kate and I went to a party, and my go-to for a lot of stuff was, people would come up to me, "How are you doing?" "Oh man, I'm exhausted. I'm so busy. I'm exhausted." And it's still a thing that happens, right? It's almost like it's this thing that we hold up to go, you know, hey, I'm such a busy guy, look at all the things that I'm doing. And I remember I was at this party, and I kept going around, "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm exhausted, but I've been doing so much stuff." I remember we walked out of that party, and I turned to my wife and I said, "Hey, how was that for you?" And she just went, "Sure got tired of hearing how exhausted you were." And it was like, it stung in the moment, but there was truth in it, right? And it was true. I spent the entire party telling everybody how exhausted I was. How gross is that, right? How would you like to just spend time, relationships and interactions that we're supposed to be having with people? There's like a little bit of a back and forth, right? At times there's like an emotional deposit that's happening. At times there's an emotional withdrawal that's happening. But can you imagine just being a guy that's just going into a party and just dumping on people the entire time? Um, that's why I'm grateful for Kate, man. She's able to call me on my stuff, you know. Uh, but anyway, that idea of getting in this mindset of feeling sorry for yourself or being burnt out, like, these things start coming up when we're not taking proper care of yourself. I saw this quote yesterday. Again, it was a Stefan Molyneux quote, but it said, shoot, I'm going to get it wrong. It's something about self-pity. Self-pity is something that eventually uh, is like a predicate for rage. And the concept behind that, it completely demolished it. But it's this idea that when we get in this mindset, or this heart mindset that's feeling sorry for ourselves, we're eventually going to get to a point where it just turns around and it becomes like, um, just gargantuan rage that starts coming out because we start getting angry. We're like an animal backed into a corner. Um, I had some of that stuff that was popping up for me yesterday because, for example, with this show, I usually have like, I've got a couple of outline or ideas that I want to touch on for the live show. But it's not completely scripted out right now. And I wanted to be intentional with that with the live show in order to make space down the line so that when conversations come up that I can have a back and forth with audience members. But this idea was, learn to be consistent and practice in public, and be able to think on your feet, and to be able to express yourself clearly. It's something that I have to work at continually. Are the thoughts, the ideas, are they coming across in a clear way to listeners, to viewers? The only way that I'm going to get better at that is by showing up continually, time and time and time and time again. Now, the other side of is this is 21st century stuff. This is We were talking about this a little bit with painter Jeff Watts last night. The 21st century mindset wants to creep in, and the 21st century mindset wants to get to what the end product is. The end product is, oh, great. I've got, you know, thousands and hundreds of thousands of listeners and viewers and subscribers, and I want everything absolutely perfect and everything is rolling. Well, I'm not in that stage right now. I'm just not. I'm in this stage right now where uh, we're starting out. You got to put in the sweat equity. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the consistency. That's the thing that I'm continually learning. And how many times when I take a look back over the years, did I bail out on stuff because it felt like it was too hard or things weren't going to go exactly my way? I'm going to tell you, man, something that just popped up in my mind that I hadn't thought of. You know, years ago, I wanted to do. It was one of these 24-hour film challenges. Just when these things were coming out and it was brand new, and everybody was using like their video cameras and computer editing was sort of a brand new thing. So it was a multi-step procedure, right? So you basically have to get out these things usually with like mini VHS tapes, and then you have to figure out how to digitize it and get it to your computer and upload it. And there was this challenge that was coming up. There was it was like a 24-hour film festival thing. And the challenge was to do something that was going to be like a one-shot take. And I remember I wanted to do this thing in our home with a friend of ours portraying a clown, and I was going to use Kate, and I was getting all of these things together. And uh, I felt like I felt like I was getting like a little bit of resistance from Kate, from the other actor, and I just thought, it's okay, just forget it. Yeah, I just threw my hands up and I just let it go. And the point is this, man, it's like you should have done it. You should have pressed forward with it and just make it happen, because it's easier to. It's so much easier to not do it. I think that that's the default, right? I have that consistently. I have that consistently with, uh, you know, morning devotionals that I'm showing up with other guys, or weekly meetings I'm going to, recovery meetings, just like going, I don't want to go to it. It's like, no, go to it. It's a good thing for you. It's that structure. Um, I'm going to be doing a run, some exercises today. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to, because you have to show up and get the stuff done. You have to do the sweat equity. You have to put in the time. Um, yeah. So I don't know. That was just really a thought that kind of popped in my mind, which is just like it's about the showing up and continually doing it, even when you're not getting the results. I'll give you a little insight. Let's pull back the curtain a little bit. So this version of the show, the Kevin Gregg show, um, this is the second version of it. I've had several podcasts over the years. I had the Kevin Gregg show, then I did the discussion with Kevin Gregg, which also had a co-host, Jeremy Van Cleve. Um, then I've been doing Your Creative Journey with Paul Carganella, and then this is a new version of that Kevin Gregg show. So when I first started out doing the original Kevin Gregg show, it was back in 2009, right? It was this is the weirdest thing for me in terms of podcasts and broadcasting, right? Um, you know, podcasting and everything, man, was like really taking off 2005 through 2009. It was just like building. So it was very odd to me to see, like, especially in the last 5 years, how big podcasting has come, because I truly thought like podcasting was a thing that had come and gone. But apparently it's not only here to stay, it's even grown more. I remember in the early days, I used to work on a regular basis with Jeremy Carter, Mark McConville, Matt Gorley. We all used to work down together at the Disneyland Resort, and these guys started out the Superego the Superego podcast, comedy podcast, and amazing. And the person that spearheaded that first and foremost was Matt Gorley, who he would just show up and just do this stuff, and he was always had a knack for just assembling together and talk about somebody putting in the sweat equity, right? This is a guy that was cobbling this stuff out, trying to figure out the technology, getting people together. Then he'd get together with Mark McConville and Jeremy Carter, and then down the line, Paul F. Tompkins came. But these guys were working on this stuff. When those guys were first starting, Matt Gorley, Jeremy Carter, Mark McConville, when they were doing that, I was also doing my version of the Kevin Gregg show around the same time. These guys were killing it. Like every month, it was like 20,000 downloads or something a month when they were first doing the podcast. And in my mind, I thought, oh, yeah, that's where I want to go. Right. That's what I want to do. That's what the thing was, is that with my show, which was basically interviewing actors, writers, directors, very, very niche, right? It was like a very niche, like unless you're in the business and the industry, it's it probably doesn't pertain to you. Um, but I got so caught up at that time with the numbers, with the reach, all of this other stuff. Um, I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. I just wasn't doing it for the right reasons. And those guys kind of took off, and believe me, they hit like they hit a wider bunch uh, of audience members with the comedy that they did. Um, Two completely separate categories. But I got so focused on going, yeah, me too. And it's like, no, man, what are you doing? You're trying to aim for the end result, and that's not the point. That's not the point of it. So here I come back to 2021 with doing this show, this version of the show right now. And it is, can I show up on a regular basis? Can I communicate thoughts clearly? And can I be of service to the audience and to the listeners that are there? That's what I want to be doing. That's what I want to be focusing on. And if I do that and keep that in focus, and if I keep talk about getting your thoughts clear. Um, but if I keep that as the focus of what I'm trying to do, I think I'm going to be in the right place to help out those people that are listening. Again, I created this show because usually, uh, I'm at a crossroads in a new chapter of my life. I'm trying to learn more stuff uh, about business, about history, expressing uh, expressing my thoughts on uh, Christianity and also the history of Christianity in an intelligent and educational way, so that I know it better and so that I can help others understand it more, right? Can I do that with Christianity? Can I do that with business ideas, concepts, history, getting those thoughts clear and helping others along the way as they get that information? That's one of the things I want to do with this. Anyway, the most important thing is I get the opportunity to show up consistently to do it. So, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for watching this. Thanks for tuning in. I've got many ideas for topics that we're going to be covering and unpacking several things. We're going to be having some opportunities for you to be able to communicate and be part of a community. Then I'm going to be revealing those over the next, I think, probably early May. We'll start doing that because we want to start having a dialogue and a conversation. Yeah, I'm excited what this is going to be. This is the live version that we're doing today. Friday, I'm going to be putting out a pre-recorded show, but I'll be back again live following Monday. And I just want to say thanks for watching the show. If you like this, please give it a like, subscribe so that you get the indications when this is coming out. Shows coming out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So that's what we got. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. God bless all of you. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye now.